Hi everyone, welcome to the very last video in chapter 7. This was the longest chapter thus far. So you are in video 9. So the autonomic nervous system is a division of the peripheral nervous system. It's part of the motor division, and it controls involuntary activities. So like cardiac muscle, smooth muscle, and glandular tissue. Stop, Frank. My dog's sitting with me now. One of my dogs, I should say. So remember, the somatic nervous system stimulates skeletal muscle, and a lot of times, unless it's a reflex, we have control over our somatic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system has both pre and postganglionic nerves that extend preganglionic into the brain and postganglionic to different organs, okay? There are two arms of the autonomic nervous system, a sympathetic and a parasympathetic division. So this figure just shows the pre and postganglionic regions. So if you're looking at somatic, we have that pre-ganglionic region, but that's really all we have. Or we just have one nerve stimulating one structure, right? So that's like skeletal muscle. So here in the nervous system, autonomic nervous system, we have a preganglionic, which then stimulates another nerve called the postganglionic nerve. And here again. So when body regions serve the same organ, both sympathetic and parasympathetic, they're going to have antagonistic effects in the autonomic nervous system. So antagonistic means that they work against each other. So an example is parasympathetic division releases acetylcholine, and the sympathetic division releases norepinephrine. They're going to have opposite effects on the same tissue. So let's look at autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic system. I got this picture from the Washington Post. I just loved it because I love zombies. I'm a zombie person. So, sympathetic system is your fight or flight system. And so it's going to be the exercise system, excitement, any type of stressors. I always think of sympathetic and stress go together. Another way to remember is it's the E division, exercise, excitement, embarrassment. Anything that is going to put stress on your body, you're going to enter that sympathetic system. And sympathetic system is going to redirect the nutrients to the organs that will keep you alive so that you can either fight or flee from these zombies. The parasympathetic system then is your housekeeping system. So I got this figure from WebMD. And so in this case, you get to sleep, relax, rest. This is what you do at the end of a hard day at work. You go home and you just relax. You forget, you de-stress, right? Parasympathetic system oftentimes is thought of as the D division, digestion, defecation, diuresis. So when you're in the sympathetic system, your digestive system is not as important. Your urinary system is not as important. You're not worried about getting rid of materials. You're worried about staying alive. And so the organs that are going to take the majority of the nutrients in the sympathetic system are going to be your cardiovascular system, your nervous system, and your muscular system. Whereas when you're at rest, the other organ systems are going to gain nutrients as well so that you can digest and get rid of waste products. So here are the effects that the different autonomic nervous impulses have. So in a parasympathetic system or a sympathetic system, For the digestion and parasympathetic, you're going to increase smooth muscle activity so that you can move that nutrients and gain the and get rid of the waste products. In sympathetic, though, you're going to decrease activity because you don't care about that system to stay alive. Lungs, constricting bronchioles in the parasympathetic system. You don't need as much oxygen moving, whereas in the sympathetic system, you need more oxygen because you're trying to get more energy to stay alive. So I'll let you read through the rest of these because I'm pretty sure you can read, so you can do that, okay? Here's some more that you can just go through and look at. These are all from your book as well. So the last thing that we'll talk about then is development of the nervous system. So the development of the nervous system actually occurs in the first trimester. We start forming the nervous system in the 4th week of development. So it takes 3 weeks to form the embryo, and then in the 4th week, we already have a nervous system forming. So any damage that can occur within that first month is very detrimental to our nervous system. So some disorders associated with the nervous system, and not all of these are associated with damage in the first month, but a lot of these can if anything happens in that first trimester. A lot of times it can lead to problems, like if you're not getting enough nutrients, that can lead to spina bifida. If you have any type of damage that occurs during birth to the brain, that can lead to cerebral palsy. Anencephaly is a disorder in which the brain doesn't form properly. A lot of times the skull doesn't form with the brain. And so you can end up with a partial brain or no brain at all. These infants, when they're born, are oftentimes born either dead or they die very quickly after birth. Hydrocephalus occurs when you have, it's also known as water on the brain, when you have extreme amounts of cerebrospinal fluid that aren't draining properly. So you're producing it, but you're not draining it. In infants, again, this is going to cause the head to expand. So treatment would typically be putting in a shunt that drains that fluid. In adults, once your skull has fused, this same problem where you get damage that causes fluid not to be able to drain can actually lead to nerve damage and death, and that can lead to death of the individual. Premature babies, because the hypothalamus is one of the last regions of the brain to form, premature babies can't regulate body temperature, which is why they are oftentimes put into those little incubators that keep them warm. And a lot of times with premature babies, they don't have the function that other children do because they don't have the same myelination yet. So as the child ages, that myelin forms, and that allows for quicker motor control. So last slide, yay, right? You should be able to tell me what the sympathetic division of the nervous system is, of the autonomic nervous system, and what the parasympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system is. I'm going to stop here so that you can take in all this great information and get ready for your quiz. Bye.